Ventricles of the brain. Ventricles are the cavities in the brain filled with cerebrospinal fluid. There are 4 ventricles, 2 lateral ventricles, 3rd ventricle and 4th ventricle. 2 lateral ventricles, 3rd ventricle and 4th ventricle. Lateral ventricles. There are 2 lateral ventricles. Each lateral ventricle is roughly a C-shaped cavity situated within each cerebral hemisphere. It has a central part or a body and with 3 projections or horns, namely anterior horn, posterior horn and inferior horn. So this is the body, anterior horn, posterior horn and inferior horn. The 2 lateral ventricles are separated by a septum known as septum pellucidum. The lateral ventricles communicate with 3rd ventricle through interventricular foramen or foramen of Monro. 3rd ventricle. It is a median cavity present between 2 thalami. That is, it is a median cavity present between right and left thalamus. The cavity of the 3rd ventricle is traversed by a mass of grey matter called interthalamic adhesion. The 3rd ventricle communicates anteriorly with the lateral ventricle through the interventricular foramen and posteriorly with the 4th ventricle through cerebral aqueduct or foramen of Sylvius. 4th ventricle. It is a tent-shaped cavity present in front of the cerebellum and behind the pons and upper part of medulla oblongata. See here, it is a tent-shaped cavity. It is present in front of the cerebellum and behind the pons and upper part of medulla oblongata. The 4th ventricle continues below as central canal of medulla oblongata. The 4th ventricle is rhomboidal in shape. The cerebrospinal fluid fills the cavities of all the ventricles. The cavity of the ventricles are lined by a thin membrane known as ependyma. Deep to the ependyma, there are choroid plexus. These choroid plexus are responsible for production of cerebrospinal fluid. So the choroid plexus present in the 2 lateral ventricles produces majority of the cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid from the lateral ventricles passes through the interventricular foramen into the 3rd ventricle and into the 4th ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct. The cerebrospinal fluid present in the cavity of the 4th ventricle drains into the subarachnoid space through 2 apertures present in the roof of the 4th ventricle. Okay. A central aperture in the roof of the fourth ventricle is known as foramen of Magendie, and the two lateral apertures present in the roof of the fourth ventricles are known as foramen of Luschka. So the cerebrospinal fluid from the fourth ventricle drains into subarachnoid space through foramen of Magendie and foramen of Luschka. Thank you.